Hey, happy Saturday. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Today we have Anna joining us. Thank you, Anna, for being here. And our guest is David Weiss, also known as Flat Earth Dave, who once was a skeptic and now he's 100% full throttle into flat Earth. So we want to find out what changed his mind, how he got here, and take it over, Dave. Tell us about yourself.
Wow,
What
that's
made you change? What made you change from skeptic, no way, no how to absolutely this is it?
people criticize flat earthers like you guys don't believe anything. And the funny thing is, everyone is believing anything. Everything in this world is fake. And it's only when you look and really use your God-given common senses to see that all of observable reality is that we're on a level, non-spinning, motionless plane, and that the sky, the lights in the sky, whatever they are spinning above us. It is the globe's responsibility to they're making the positive claim. Hey, imagine that you were born into a tribe in the middle of the Amazon and you've never had any education on anything. What would your experience be? Well, the earth isn't moving. Water, large bodies of water at rest lie flat. The stars move in the night and they never cross each other. There's no parallax ever in any of the stars, but they're supposedly going like a beehive crazy for billions of years, but never is there any parallax. So what made me become a full-on level horizontal plane earther is reality and my ability to look at the nonsense that we were taught about the helio-nonsensical model or the helio-satanic model and understand that it is a complete deception. And one thing flat earthers have in common is, besides never being bored because this world is way too interesting now, we wonder how the heck we ever believed in the globe in the first place, how they ever got away with it, because it is literally so stupid when you look at it that you wonder how you ever fell for it. And the saying, lie, go big or go home, lie big or go home. The lie is so big that people can't see it. People don't understand, why are all pilots and scientists in on it? No. What about all the people at NASA? No, they're not. Most people aren't in on it, but there are plenty of people
But
now that know. Good.
what actual evidence did you come across? I mean, it's one thing to just say, "Hey, I'm just going to change my belief," but I mean, surely you saw things that made you change your mind. What exactly was the things that you saw
One of
that
the one
changed
of the
your mind?
things one of the things was back in 2014. They were showing how sailboats, the one that we all know, boats disappear over the horizon because we live on a ball. That's what we're taught. But we're not taught that there's another reason why boats disappear from the bottom up, which is a little more complicated, but once you understand it, it makes perfect sense. But on a physical ball, no matter how big that ball is, whether it's a basketball, a yoga ball, or the earth ball, or the moon, there is a curvature. There's physical curvature. When you're looking across a ball, there will be a physical horizon, which is a curvizon on a ball, versus a horizontal eye zone, horizon. And you shouldn't be able to see beyond it. And people say, well, the earth is so big that you're like a microbe on a basketball. And then they show you the basketball close up and the microbe seeing a flat basketball. But they want you to believe that ships are going over the horizon right in front of your eyes. And when you do the math, the globe math, not flat earth math, but just actual math, on the ball, the size that they tell us with a radius of 3963 miles, at just 3 miles away, there's 6 feet of drop. Just 3 miles is 6 feet of drop. That means a 6 foot tall person standing at the edge of calm water should not be able to see the surface of that water beyond 3 miles because it's behind a physical curve, and no telescope, camera, super zoom camera, nothing can zoom it back in because it's behind a physical edge. But that's not the case. We can see farther. So here's just a quick thing. This is a user that he went on a frozen lake. He put his camera 6 inches off the ground, and he put these lasers, not lasers, just lights, colored lights, 8 miles, 7 miles, 6 miles, and 5 miles away. Now, at 8 miles, there should be, and I'm rounding way down, it's more like 40 feet, but I'm using every benefit of the doubt for the globe. There should be 30 feet below a physical curve. Right? This is a physical curve. You can't see my mouth because it's behind a physical curve. Not only can we see at 30 feet, 22 feet, 15 feet, and 9 feet, but they all magically are on the same plane, kind of like the ice was flat and not curved. Weird, right? So
Weird.
yeah, no curvature, no ball. Now, we've seen things. We see a ship, we see an oil rig, and we're like, okay, we know that we're seeing too far, but then we see things that are so far away that if the Earth was a ball, it would have to have a radius of over, was it 200,000 miles? 200,000 miles, and they're telling us the radius is just less than 4. So if we live on a ball with a radius of 200,000 miles versus 4,000, I think that's a big deception. That means, we have 8 continents, or I don't even know how many continents they, because I think there's way more. That would mean that there is, 800 continents. The deception is so big that people are just afraid to look at it. They're afraid. So that's the first thing, but looking at things in the distance, here, you don't see anything here because of the angular limits of your eyes. So as we zoom in, we're zooming in and we're making this bigger. And as we make it bigger, all of a sudden you'll go, oh, look, there's a boat. Now that boat's not behind a curve. It was just out of our angular view. And see these little waves? If my finger was a wave, that wave can't hide that boat unless it's closer to you. And look, the boat disappears from the bottom up due to angular size. Because these waves in the foreground, my finger can hide an entire city skyline. My finger can cover my whole face if I bring it closer to you.
Right. Okay.
So that was the first thing. And then I was like, there's got to be something wrong with the curve calculator. And I bought a $1,000 camera, a tripod, and I'm zooming in on things that shouldn't be able to see. So I'm like, okay, the Earth is bigger. That just changes everything, because then if the Earth is bigger, then the moon is farther and the sun is farther and the planets are farther, and they couldn't have gone to the moon, and nothing works. You change one thing, everything has to change. Everything. And then I started looking into astronomical distances, and they make no sense whatsoever. We're putting $80 million a day into NASA. 80 million. Let that sink in. $80 million a day to NASA. And what
a day?
80 million a day. And what are they doing? Like the closest star, excluding our sun, right? They tell us our stars are suns and our sun's a small star, but we can see that our sun is actually big and stars are small, but they tell us the opposite. And the closest star is 25 trillion miles away. If we were going a mile per second and we went for 31,000 years, we're 1/25th of the way to the closest star. We have to do that 24 more times to get to the closest star. But let's say we got a faster ship. We go to our hero, Elon, total fraud. And we got a ship that goes 100,000 miles an hour, incomprehensible. It would only take us 28,000 years to get to the closest star. And we're funneling $80 million a day into that when we have homelessness and people. NASA's budget can solve everything in this world, but we're just feeding it into space. So let's play a quick little game here. This is a picture from the James Webb telescope. Let me just switch here. And why isn't it changing? 1, 2, there we go. Why isn't it changing? Transition. Wow, that just froze up on me. Give me 1 second. Here. Oh, there we go. This is the problem. Did I make this, or did NASA take this with the James Webb telescope? So what I just circled here, these are little galaxies that I actually put in that picture. Okay. So this is the picture they gave us. This is one that I made. If I showed you that one first, would you think that's from NASA?
No.
This is one from NASA, and I put in all of these pictures, all of these. See them blink out, blink in. So can you really tell the difference? You can't. You
I
can't.
do have an acquaintance that posts pictures with cameras or his telescopes, and there's some beautiful pictures of galaxies that he's able to take.
There are beautiful pictures of stuff like this. There are lights here within our that are very, very close to us. No one has ever seen anything of a star, anything other than a pixel of light on their camera, just a pixel of light. So here's one. Now, did I make this one? I can't even remember. All right, I think I made this one because it's clear. This is NASA. This is NASA. And I made this one. I literally made this one searching the web for star and galaxy images, dropping them on a black background in PicMonkey, and it took me 10 minutes. And people just see this, go, oh, NASA's so amazing. By the way, this picture was taken by James Webb, a million miles away, and Hubble, the garbage can that's supposedly orbiting our Earth. And together, they somehow got enough data to make this picture. Can you believe that nonsense? I'd like
all
to.
those
I'd like
trillions of miles in between.
Yeah, the whole James Webb thing. I mean, if you look at it, James Webb Telescope is supposedly balanced at a million miles away from Earth, in between Sun's gravity and Earth's gravity. It's closer to Earth because we're smaller, and it found that neutrally spot where both pull on it equally, right? Which is absolutely the dumbest idea ever. Because in our galaxy, in our solar system, this is what we're doing. Not only are we spinning around the sun, we're chasing the sun at 500,000 miles per hour. So we're doing this, and somehow, right, if one of these little dots is the Earth, somehow the James Webb Telescope is sitting and just staying in a perfect spot, equidistant. It's the dumbest thing ever. And people just like, well, the guy in a white lab coat, he said it's possible. And where did you get your degree? Right? The more you're educated, the more you're indoctrinated. So here on Earth, I remember I was watching a Nova about there's a photo called deep sky or deep space, where they said they focused for a long exposure on a spot in the sky the size of a grain of rice, and they filmed it for hours collecting the light, and then it gave you a picture like this. But each one of these things, it might actually be one, this might even be it, is another galaxy, and a galaxy has 100 billion or more stars in it, the number you can't even fathom. So they're saying that this is just one little tiny segment of the sky. All of these are there. Now, when they were taking this photo, the operator of the telescope, this giant telescope, had to walk around in socks very carefully. And the telescope was mounted on like 8-foot slab of concrete. So there's no
Hey, Dave,
vibration. Yeah.
Dave, I'm going to stop you for a second. Everybody's telling me there's something happened to your mic.
My mic?
That there's, I can hear you just
Static?
fine. Yeah, that there's
Yeah,
static.
you sound fine to me.
I'm not sure.
Is that any better?
Can we get a 5x5 if he's better?
There's like a 30-second delay here.
Yeah, of course.
So let's wait to see if they can hear you.
Hi, God's Redeemed. Nice to see you.
Hi, Duskaroo. Please let us know if I'm static too.
Well,
how is Anna's? Am I staticky too?
It's not as mic, it's Rumble.
It's Rumble. I'm recording on my side, so I'll have a clean copy when this is done, and I can send it to you. We could re-upload.
Okay, that would be great.
Thank you. Awesome.
So just finishing what I was saying, they can't. They said they can't have the slightest vibration because it'll ruin the photo. And I thought that's really cool. But did they forget? They forget that the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles per hour. It's orbiting at 66,000 miles per hour, and it's chasing the sun at 500,000 miles per hour. So How is that motion negated, let alone a tiny little vibration? People don't think this stuff through, right? You're moving tremendous, at like speeds you can't even fathom. You can't even fathom 1,000 miles an hour because you've never gone it. You've gone on an airplane 500, maybe 600 miles an hour. You're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. You're orbiting and you're chasing the sun. And somehow we're getting a perfectly framed in shot of a grain of rice sized section of the sky for hours on end to collect the light that's been traveling for billions and billions of years. It's all just to hypnotize you and make you fantasize about space and dilute the rich reality that we live in.
Right. Okay. So explain to me about what you think the shape of the Earth is. What's under, like, I've heard you in different things where you say it's kind of like a sphere. We have a dome around us. What's underneath? What's to the sides?
Right, let's
Not quite sure. Like, I'm not quite sure. I mean, because, you know, I hear from people, oh, flat Earth, it's not flat. I mean, what do you think?
So the deepest hole ever dug is short of 8 miles. So anyone that says they know what's below 8 miles is lying. It's just a lie, because when they were digging the core borehole, they were wrong every step of the way until they got about 7.8 miles down. They hit something that was impenetrable. And then they're like, oh, well, we know what the next 4,000 miles is, right? And everyone has this meme, showing they literally, if the apple was the Earth, they got like a quarter of the way through the skin, barely, maybe less. And somehow they know what the next 4,000 miles is.
Right.
Right. This is a pseudoscience, totally made up, 100% speculation, nonsense. And they're also laughing at us because what's the center? A molten magnetic core. There's no such thing as a molten magnet. You heat a magnet to the Curie point. Before it melts, it loses all its magnetism, period. So they're just,
really?
Yeah, absolutely. Get a magnet, get a blowtorch, heat it up, cool it off. It's no longer a magnet.
Excellent. I'll try that.
Yeah. So
So
go ahead.
could I ask a question?
Yeah.
With the way we're supposed to be spinning around and doing all these things like your graphic showed, how is it that we have all these humongous structures like the Great Pyramids and Giza that are aligned with Orion's belt still to this day after thousands of years?
Yeah.
How
So,
were they able to put things navigating by the sky
well, they
and
told
it's
us,
still in the same place?
yeah, they say that the shaft in the pyramids that's pointing towards our North Star, they go, well, when the pyramids were built, they were pointing towards Thuban, a different North Star, right? And for 2,000 years, we're drifting, wobbling, and just during our lifetimes, it happens to point towards Polaris. And it only shifts 1 degree every 76 years, according to Helio-Satanism. And so here's something, though, that's newer. You guys remember the Georgia Guidestones, and it was an astronomical formation, whatever, monument. And there was a line, a tiny little hole you can look through, and it points to Polaris all day, all night. You can only see it at night, of course, but Polaris was always there. It was built in 1981. And if they tell us, even though we're corkscrewing through space, traveling 4.5 billion miles a year, never to return to where we were before, there's no parallax. The North Star will stay right where it is because it's so far away that 4.4 billion miles amounts to nothing as far as an angle difference to Polaris because it's so far away. It's so dumb. It's ridiculous. But they can't get away from the wobble of the Earth. So wobbles 1 degree every 76 years. Well, 40 years is over a half a degree. A half a degree is 1.5 moon widths. Polaris should no longer have been lined up inside of that inside of that hole. And as we started promoting that, they blew it up. All of a sudden, the terrorists blew up the Georgia Guidestones. And within a couple of hours, no investigation, just like 9/11, the bulldozers were there, knocked the whole thing down and took it away. You know why? Because this is absolute 100% current proof that cannot be argued against that we're not wobbling. And if we're not wobbling, there's no precession of no way to explain the movement of the stars in the skies other than the stars in the sky are moving, just like we observe. So nobody cares. It's gone, and nobody cares.
So you're saying that was in the same spot all the time, never
Always.
moved.
It never moved. And the fact that you can still we went ourselves. We looked. There's Polaris. It should not have been there anymore. And when they realized that, there's no way to adjust the monument. There's nothing they could do except they had a terrorist blow it up and no investigation. The whole thing was the bulldozers were there within hours and the whole thing was taken down. And now
how soon did you put that out there that
we were
taken
talking about the guide stones for probably about a year, maybe a little less than a year. And as more and more people like, oh my God, and more and more people started to go visit it, and we're going to document it, and bam, they're gone.
That's very interesting.
Fascinating.
There is a question here in chat, which I'm amazed I can even look over at the chat.
Hold that question for 1 second, since we're on monuments.
Okay.
Today's 11/11. Okay. At 11/11 on 11/11, this monument, the sun lines up with all of these holes, and it lights up this little United States emblem in honor of veterans, right? Because it's Veterans Day.
Oh, wow.
But how does that happen in a beehive universe? Because the sky's a perfect clock, and every year at 11:11 a.m. at 11/11, that sun will line up with there because the sky is a perfect clock. Impossible in the Helios nonsensical model, only makes sense on a flat Earth. Go ahead. Question in the chat.
Well, that's kind of off. Well, I'll just hold that question then. I'm going to hold it until we kind of talk about this. The sun and the moon, you're saying, are not an actual star or a planet, right? It's lights. Is that what I'm hearing from your past videos, I think?
Well, here's the only truthful thing anyone could say about any of the lights in the sky is that they're lights, because nobody really knows how far they are, how big they are, or anything. And when we start looking at stars, they look completely different. Now, this is what we've all been taught stars will look like if we're traveling through space. Do you see how these stars are changing positions? This is called parallax, right? I was talking about that before. So this star crosses that, right? There's zero parallax. Go out and take a picture of the stars tonight, and then next year, put a note in your calendar every year to take the same picture at the same time, the same night, and none of the stars will ever move, ever. They should move every day if we're spinning and corkscrewing through space. So what are the stars? And that's a great question, but they're energetic orbs. You know, they say that, I believe that the space is water, and this is what stars really look like, and it kind of looks like water. It looks like that we're looking at these lights through water. I don't know what they are. I don't think anybody does.
I do know that, like, when you try to take video and zoom in on a star, and it looks exactly like that.
Yeah. This is the star Sirius. Now, this one might be a little out of focus, but even when you're out of focus, you'll start seeing these cymatic patterns that wouldn't be there. That one actually, I got another one. I think this one's clearer. Yeah, this is the star Sirius. What are we seeing? Now, if you ask me, this is just me, I'm not speaking for anyone else. I think stars are sentient. I think that's where consciousness is. I think that's where we come from. We come from the stars. That's what the liars, they're always telling us the truth, but in a different way. And, we're stardust. No, we are, that's where consciousness lies. In my opinion, okay. Other people aren't so sure of anything.
Okay. Say that one more time. So you're saying this is where we come from, right there?
I think that the stars are sentient. I think we live in this entire, they say Mother Earth is alive. It's all alive. Everything's alive. It's all energy. We are on this plane inside of this toroidal field. And this is the only place we can exist in these physical bodies. Our non-physical self, when we depart these avatar suits, we go back up to the stars. You might want to call the stars angels. They're perfect. They don't need to move. But this is a star. This is what NASA tells us it is. And this is what we see when we look at it with our own, optics. Our consumer optics have outgrown their lies. They tell us that's
Got it.
211 trillion miles away. How am I able to zoom in on it and make it bigger? 211 trillion miles. Okay, I was talking about the closest star, 25 trillion miles away, a number you can't even fathom. Right? Do you guys know how long 1 trillion seconds is, just to give you an idea what a trillion is? Have any
In
idea?
seconds?
How long?
No.
How long is 1 trillion seconds? If you guess it within a week, I'll give you a Bitcoin. Just take a guess. Come on, wild guess.
A trillion of a second?
1 trillion seconds is how long?
24 years.
24 years. And you want to take a guess also?
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
31,000 years. Okay?
Wow.
Damn.
So now just think. 1 trillion seconds is 31,000 years. And that star's 211 trillion miles away. It's the dumbest thing ever, right? Light, go get a flashlight in a dark room, go to a big gym or something, some big giant dark room, and hold the flashlight an inch from the wall, a foot from the wall, nice and bright. Walk 2 feet away, 4 feet away, 8 feet away, and watch that light on the wall get dimmer and dimmer exponentially. When you're 100 yards away, you're not even going to see the light on the wall. It's going to be so spread out. And that light is going to be tiny if you're on the wall looking at it. And now go a mile and then 10 miles. And they say, well, the stars are so big. The inverse square law of light still applies no matter how big. And every time you double the distance of something, it's a quarter of the size and a quarter of the brightness, right? You wouldn't be able to see Polaris, which they tell us is, what do they say Polaris is? 433 light years away. If it was a light month away, you wouldn't be able to see it. But we can see it with our naked eye. Why is it that all the stars look like they're the same size? Some stars are a million times bigger than other stars, but they're all the same size. How come we don't look up, we don't see giant stars and smaller stars? How come they're all basically the same size?
Right.
How is that possible? And another thing is, why do we see planets? Let me show you something. I just filmed this the other day. Why do we see planets? Because the sun is lighting them up and that light is bouncing off of us, right? It's bouncing off of them. You with me?
I'm with you.
Okay. So
I keep muting myself. I apologize.
No problem. So here's the Earth, here's the moon, here's Venus, and here's the sun. Okay. So the sun is lighting up the backside of the moon. So I'm going to see a crescent moon from here. So let's turn the lights out. And so here I am. I'm right here. It's early in the morning, so I'm right on the day-night line. I'm looking at the moon, and it's just a very small crescent moon. Shouldn't I see a crescent Venus also? Why are our planets always full? Shouldn't I see a crescent Venus just like I see a crescent moon? And let me show you the video I took. And this was about 4 o'clock in the morning. So here's the moon, the sun. I'm looking east, right? So the sun is beyond, farther away than the moon. And Venus is closer. And there's Venus. So I'll zoom in on Venus. And Venus is supposed to be a planet reflecting sunlight. Well, first, how come we don't have a partial Venus? And what is that? Is that a dusty, dirty, gassy ball reflecting sunlight? Or is that its own light? This is its own light. And go out when you look at Jupiter. Jupiter is as bright as the sun. It's just smaller. And Jupiter is so far away from the sun that if you were on Jupiter and saw the sun, according to NASA, it would be a star. It would be like a big star, right? So you have to believe that distant, small, tiny sun, not as bright as we see the sun, is lighting up Jupiter, a gassy, dirty planet that's not reflective. That light is reflecting off, traveling millions of miles to Earth, to your eye, and you see it as bright as the sun. You're not thinking if you buy that story. You're like, oh yeah, it's reflecting sun. Like, go outside and look at a cement ball at noon. That light bouncing off and casting your shadow on the wall behind you, because that's what the moon does. The dusty, dirty rock that we call the moon. Somehow there's enough light bouncing off of that thing to cast our shadow on the ground. And if you do the math with the brightness of the moon, if the full moon is 1 lumen, and you went halfway to the moon, it's 4 lumens. Halfway again is 16. Halfway again is 64. And by the time you were 100 miles from the moon, at the distance they tell you, it would be like 60 times brighter than the sun. You can't fathom what twice the brightness of the sun is. But looking at the helio BS model, these are the things that you have to believe. Right? And the heliocentric model comes with evolution and everything. It's the dumbest thing ever.
So before I lose this question in the chat, I have to go back. Earlier, somebody asked, how did the Japanese attack Pearl Harbor, fly over the North Pole and across Canada?
Yeah. So these are people that are as I'm trying to multitask here. Hold on a second. These are people that are just looking at things online and looking for reasons to deny the Earth. So let me just show you deny the flat Earth. It's so simple when you see it. Oh, I know where it is. It's under maps. Here we go.
Take your time.
Yeah. No problem. I have so many things. I just try to remember where everything is all at once, and it doesn't always go. So this is, they want you to believe, well, I'm not even show you whoops, that's not what I want to show you. Let's get rid of that. Okay. So here's the flat Earth map. Here's Japan. And there's Hawaii. What's wrong with that? But they show you a Mercator map where you have to go all the way around the world. You're not thinking. Anyone that fell for that, you're not thinking. It's right there. It couldn't be a quicker flight.
Which map is this?
This is the Gleason's map. This is the map that's used for all autopilots use it. This is the map that they use for navigation. This is the map that was in every library and every school book up into the 1950s, and then it was removed. This is the map that is used for everything from war to travel.
Because I believe somebody had pulled up a Gleason map and it wasn't like this.
Well,
a little bit different.
This is the actual Gleason's map.
Okay. And how do we find that?
Just type in Gleason's map, or if you go on my app and go to the more resources page, there's you can download a high-res copy and all different formats. It's kind of amazing.
Speaking of your app, before I forget, you don't have a desktop app, do you?
No,
For those of us who have a hard time seeing on the little tiny phone.
Well, it's a mobile app. It works on iPads and tablets, and eventually it'll be on the computer. But that takes a lot more money and a lot more time, and I'm doing the best I can.
Got it. Okay, just had to ask.
Yeah, no problem. But you can pull up the videos there and then just transfer them to your computer or your smart TV, whatever, because they go into your YouTube history, and then just go there and you can find them. So that's a good workaround.
Another question that had come up is, if Antarctica is such off limits where nobody could go, why are you able to book a tour there?
Yeah, so these are great questions. There's about 100 different companies that you can book a tour, and they're way overpriced, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, $80,000, whatever. And you go for 3 days, and they literally take you to a little peninsula, to an island called Deception Island or Rothschild Island. So basically, they take you right here to this little peninsula, and that's all you can see. There's no independent tours out here. And by the way, those 100 companies are all run by the same person, and it's run by the Antarctic Commission. So they're not competing companies. They're all shell companies for one company. It's all under total control. if you look at where is it? Antarctica. So there's military bases all run by the crown all the way around. There's one here, which was the Falkland Islands. Remember that weird war? Why are we fighting over that? Because they have these military bases all around, and these are, if you try to go beyond 60 degrees south, you will be stopped. 60 degrees south is this pink line. Make it a little bigger. See that pink line? You're not even near Antarctica. So you go there, you will be stopped. And it's happened many times. You know, captains have lost their boats. They've been put in jail. But even if they let you go here, where are you going? How are you navigating? Where are you getting food, fuel? Where you're not going to do so well there. But we don't know what's out here in the outer lands. We want the right to go search. You know, there's a lot of old stories about more land out there, more civilizations. And that's my personal belief. But again, we don't need to speculate what's beyond the shoreline of Antarctica to prove the Earth is flat. We can do that right from our own home. These are all of the military bases that block Antarctica. So yeah, you can go. I'm actually going to have I'm interviewing an ex-NASA employee that went to Antarctica and went to the North Pole also. A full-on flat earther, and is going to tell us a lot of stuff. So that's coming up.
When's that coming up?
We're just scheduling now. So within the next couple weeks, I got before we forget, anybody in the Tennessee area in Nashville, there's Pastor Greg Locke, has one of the mega churches. He's got millions of followers. And he had a flat earth meltdown in his church because many of his patricianers were saying earth is flat. And he's like, no, it's not. And so he had a meltdown. And then he made a challenge to Pastor Dean Odell. And they're going to do it live on his platform December 2nd. It's open. Anyone can come and go. You don't have to buy a ticket or anything. And it's going to be streamed to millions and millions of people. And he says he's going to shut the flat earth down with just one verse from the Bible. He's not going to. It's going to be amazing. And I'm going. And anybody that wants to go, if you're on the app, go into the messaging section, and there's a group called Greg Locke Dean Odell Debate. Join that, because we're going to have a meetup the day of. And that'll be how we're going to coordinate, because it's kind of be like a last minute thing. So anybody that wants to go that's going to be in the area, join that group, Greg Locke, Dean Odell Debate on the app.
When you say he's going to shut down flat Earth, are you saying he's disproving the theory that it's flat?
he thinks that the Bible says that the Earth is a globe, and we're baffled. Everything in the Bible points to flat Earth.
I was going to bring up that same question, because in the Bible, it does very much describe a plane, a filament, waters above, waters below. They met,
100%.
great
Yep.
deluge. And then there's the book of Enoch, which really describes everything we need to know about our realm.
Yeah.
Have you read the book of Enoch?
I haven't personally read it, but I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and absolutely.
I mean, it almost it describes without question
everything
of it is, and it all goes back to it not being a globe.
Here's the thing. The controllers of this world don't want people knowing there's a God. They want doubt. So they're hiding that, because you can't control people that have a connection to God. We come here with natural rights. We have free will. We have God-given natural rights, whatever you want to call it. And they can't take that away from us, because we're here. Nature is real. You can't change nature, although they're trying. And so they created a fake world, and then they're letting us participate in it from birth. Sign a birth certificate that goes to the globe, and they have you basically registering for their fake world. And you know the whole thing with where I'm not David Weiss. I'm a living man, and that David Weiss is my straw man. And if I play in their world, then they control me. If you invent it, if you created it, you control it. So they created this fake world, and everyone's playing along. And basically, they throw it out there, and unless you say no, you're agreeing. If someone offers you something and you don't do a counter offer, you are basically agreeing. And that's how this world works. So they have us living in their fake world and playing by their fake rules and using their fake money, living on their fake map and believing their fake nonsense. And when you unplug from that matrix, if you will, you free your mind.
I totally get that. What is your speculation? What's beyond the Antarctica? The ice wall. What's beyond the ice wall?
Again, a lot of flat earthers get very upset when you talk about what's beyond there, but I love talking about it. I'm not going to stop. So I think that there's more land out there. I think there's more land inside here. I think there's more land out here, and no one can actually get there because GPS won't let you go there. There's really no way to navigate there. And the farther south you go, they're high. They have they have what's called magnetic declination. So I think there's a spot like right over here. And it says, if your compass says north is that way, it's actually 170 degrees the other way. 170 degrees. That's like, I'm facing that way. That's north. And they go, no, north is behind you. So they're hiding huge swaths of ocean. And what's out there? I think there's more land. So, you've seen this map. This map was found in a Buddhist temple. Now, the debunkers will be like, no, it's not. It's just a stupid cartoon, whatever. Of course. But this is actually very interesting. Well, since we're on that, let me show you what my thoughts are. And again, we don't need to speculate what's beyond Antarctica to prove that we live on a level, horizontal plane. So where are we here? So this
Are there actually like photos of flat Earth? Like,
well, I just showed you one at the beginning. That lake was flat. There's no curvature. Look at the Bolivian salt flats.
Are there photos from this, like planes, people flying, like
a 40,000 foot view from above?
Well, the higher up you get, everything kind of gets whited out, and when we go up, there is no curvature. Here is a balloon at 120,000 feet, and we have a stationary horizontal plane with a local sun. Let the sun come around a little bit. You'll see that it's lighting up a hot spot. Is that 93 million miles away, or is it right there? It kind of doesn't look much higher than the balloon. And what is that? It's a transformer from another dimension. I don't know what it is, and nobody can claim to know what it is. So, and you look down, the Earth is just whited out. That's atmosphere, right? But NASA will show you these vivid color pictures of Earth. And they won't even, they admit that they're not photographs, that they're composites. And they're compositing all of this stuff. And anyone that says, oh, they didn't have Photoshop back in the 70s, there's evidence that they had Photoshop in the 1800s. Okay? Everything is being hidden from us. When you learn about our fake history and how we are the inheritors of a post-apocalyptic world, then everything changes. When you understand that a lot of the infrastructure was here before this timeline of history, then it all opens up. So here's your photo of the flat Earth. It's right there. Anybody wants, where's your working model? Go to themechanicalrealm.com, watch that movie, and there's your working model that's more accurate than any fine Swiss watch. It works perfectly. So the entire globe, narrative is just gone. It's so finished. It's not even funny. But here's the thing: you're if you Google flat Earth, you're going to come up with stupid things like, oh, look, the Japanese couldn't attack Pearl Harbor, and how circumnavigation and cats would have pushed everything off the Earth already, and and the lampshade sun would light up the whole Earth, and it doesn't go under the Earth. These are all things just to distract you. You will not find any good videos. You search flat Earth, you're going to find all the stuff they want you to go. And here's a little test you can do. Go search the Loch Ness Monster and COVID and weightlifting, chest workouts, or whatever. Look at and get all the stuff in your history, and or just remember something you searched 6 months ago, a year ago, or 2 days ago, and search it go to YouTube and search your history, and all of those videos you watched will come right up. Then go to my channel, DITRH, or Jeranism, or Globebusters, or any other real Flat Earth channel, Taboo Conspiracy. Watch a bunch of videos that are all tagged and say Flat Earth, and you'll see them in your history. Then go search your history for Flat Earth, and they'll all disappear, and all of the propaganda videos will take their place.
Yes,
It's the only topic that does that.
I can say that there is something to the censorship. So like, why would you censor? I don't understand. Like
there was
usually when somebody censors, they're trying to hide it. I get that.
Why the lie? And it's all about control. On my app, for those of you that don't know, it's called the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. You just go to flatearthdave.com, and this app will show you how the sun and stars work. It shows you how the sky is a perfect clock. But very important, every day there's a featured video. And I challenge people. I offer 3 Bitcoins. That's over 100 grand right now. Excuse me. And all you got to do is watch the featured video each day while you're having your breakfast for 2 weeks. At the end of that 2 weeks, if you think you have a globe proof, send it to me and you win 3 Bitcoins. But before you waste my time and your time, hit the question mark button, and up come the frequently asked questions, and make sure it is an answer there. Like, well, what about gravity, right? And hit the gravity button. Or what about seasons? Seasons actually prove the Earth is flat. What about eclipses? And that's a big one. And we can show you what's not causing the eclipse. We can show you that a lunar eclipse is not caused by the Earth casting a shadow on there. So we've falsified it, and falsification is independent of replacement, right? If I said, Anna, you murdered somebody, and then somebody proved that no, you didn't, because you were in China when that happened, and it happened in the United States, and absolutely 100% proved that you weren't there. You can't say, well, until you show me who did, she's guilty. It doesn't work that way. We can show you that the Earth does not cast a shadow on the moon. It's impossible in many ways, many reasons. So eclipses don't prove the Earth is a globe. But all of the memes, all of the memes will show you, if the Earth was flat, you'd see an eclipse like this. They want you laughing at flat Earth. And the programming they've done is outstanding, where people will laugh at it and will refuse to look at information. But for some reason, a great many of us were able to wake up to the nonsense and able to see through it. And once you see through it, you'll never, ever, ever go back. And you'll actually start kicking yourself like, how did I fall for this? How did I fall for this? And the thing is, this is on my app, I have the friend finder. Look at the United States. Where are you guys located? Where are you guys located?
Upper Gulf Coast for me.
You're on the Gulf Coast.
I'm in the upper, yes. Yeah, upper Gulf Coast.
Here we go. I mean, there's tons of flat earthers, and these are just the people that have my app. I'd say 1% or less of flat earthers have my app. So,
wow.
So when people say, the flat earth is dying, it's dying in the YouTube algorithm because they're hiding it, right? If 1,000 people,
like everything else,
yeah, they're hiding the truth, and and what happens is a smart person will be like, well, what about seasons? What about flight routes? What about all of these things? And then they're all explained away one by one, and then they throw their hands up. They go, what difference does it make? I still have to go to work on Monday. Well, it makes all the difference in the world, because they're hiding everything. They're hiding free energy. They're hiding more land, in my opinion. They're hiding abundance. They're lying about the population. You know, the population is, I'd say, well under half of what they tell us it is. And they're keeping us in a state of fear, and because they want us to create the reality. Our thoughts create this reality. Believe it or not.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't care. And so, you know, when you watch, if you're watching TV, which I never watch, and they have all the commercials are drug commercials, and at the end of the commercial, they're like, "Oh, this, you know, side effects may include rectal bleeding, heart exploding, you know, kidney failure, death, you know, hair loss, right? All of this stuff because they want you to hear that. They're casting spells on you. How many times do you have to hear that before every cell in your body goes, "Am I going to get that? What is that?" You know, and just by hearing these words, people are diagnosed with cancer that don't have cancer, and they die because of the diagnosis, because of the spell. So,
right.
All of this negativity, all of this fear, you know, nuclear bombs, right? They want us afraid of nuclear bombs. Guess what? You're not going to like this. Nuclear bombs don't exist. What about Hiroshima and Nagasaki? For those of you that don't know, go to Crow 777 Radio, CRROW 777 Radio, and find the 2 episodes on the nuke hoax. I think it's episode 35 and 400. And listen to them, and then you'll know.
I'll have to check
I
that
thought
one
we
out.
dropped atomic bombs in Japan.
In Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but there's video of Army guys stacking TNT at ground zero prior to the bomb. There's video of you know, there's after the bombs went off, there's only one government reporter that was allowed to take pictures and write articles. Anyone else that did was put in jail. It's only one guy that controlled the information. 3 days later, after a nuclear bomb went off, 2 of them, the trains were running, the flower shops were open, the delis were open, and people were back to work. Does that sound like a nuclear bomb? It was a firebomb. That's it. Nuclear bombs don't exist. Now, the dirty bombs, yeah, maybe there's you know, there's all sorts of ways. You know, we're seeing what's going on with, you know, directed energy stuff now, if anyone's paying attention. Nuclear bombs don't exist. So now, if you're watching the news and they're like, "Oh, this is escalating and Putin might drop a nuclear bomb," you could laugh, because before you knew, once you know nuclear bombs don't exist, if you don't know, every cell in your body, when you hear, you know, it could get, you know, escalate to nuclear, every cell in your body is now at dis-ease. And that's what they want.
And dis-ease.
Yeah. They
Yes.
And so that, whether you, even if you're just listening to it out of one ear, you know, you're like, "Oh, there's nothing I can do about it." Still, every cell in your body is now afraid, is not at ease, is at dis-ease. And this is how they can control you.
What about nuclear energy?
Nuclear energy is just a high-tech way of boiling water. Plutonium boils water, and it makes steam, and it turns pistons. Okay? What about old world technology where they're pulling energy out of the air? I have I just ordered a spool of really thin copper wire, like thread thickness. And if you tie it to your drone and send it way up in the air, you don't want to touch it because you get electrocuted. There's so much energy in the air if it's not grounded. So, and I'm afraid that I have to find somebody like, "Hey," I got to find somebody like, hey, grab that wire for me. I can't. I'm controlling. I gotta find somebody.
Hey, come here, you. I want to tase you.
Yeah. So
that's funny. I find it ironic that when they say extraterrestrial, extra means more and terra means Earth.
Yeah. Let me
So the wordplay is very funny too.
Have you guys seen my stuff on Kiribati? I know I'm saying it wrong. I'll show you real quick. Okay. So this is you can go on and you can track ships all over the world. It shows you all the ships. You click on it, it gives you all the information. But we found a ship that was 730 miles inside of Antarctica. How does that make any sense? And at that distance, it's almost 2 miles above sea level. How does a ship go all the way in there? Like, is it a ravine that opened up? So it's got walls 2 miles high? That's crazy. A canyon? So
what was the name of that site?
This just go to ship tracking, ship tracker, whatever.
Ship tracking.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
ship tracker, whatever. And so here's another one, 905 miles, right? According to, this is almost near the center of Antarctica. How does a ship get there? So one of them, we clicked on it and it said this ship was, I hope I get the numbers right, I think it's 850 meters long, which is gigantic, and 80 meters wide. Okay, so what is that ship doing out there? And when we clicked it, it said that it didn't give us any information where it was going, anything. It just said it's registered on the island of Kiribati. Okay, so what if the world was set up like this, and that ship was going out here? Well, this would look like it's in the middle of Antarctica because this is all wrapped around a ball. All of this is hidden when you're on a ball, and it's out here in a trade route. So let's say let's show you where Kiribati is, in the middle of the South Pacific. It's a tiny little sandbar. China and the U.S. gave them billions of dollars. China gave them 10 billion. I think the U.S. gave them a similar number not too long ago. And they said, this is a very important trade route. Why would this be an important trade route? Why would this little sandbar be an important trade route? And other countries are talking about, Kiribati is very, very, very important. And on Kiribati, there's the Captain Cook Hotel. For those of you that don't know, Captain Cook was the guy that tried to circumnavigate Antarctica, which is only 10 to 13,000 miles around, and he went over 68,000 miles to go around. So that sounds like he's going all the way around a flat Earth. All right. So another funny thing about Kiribati is we were looking at the ship tracker, and look at all these ships here. Let's see where they're going. Destination unknown, or Christmas Island. All of them were either unknown or Christmas Island. What's going on there? What are they trading? What if it is a trade route? What is
Christmas Island?
I don't know. When you look at the whole Christmas satanic thing and children, maybe they're trafficking children. I don't know. If this is where Kiribati is, maybe they're going out here, and it is an important trade route. Maybe they're getting computer chips or tuna fish or children or weapons or food, whatever. And there could be a trade route here. There could be another one here. There could be another one here. We don't know, because you'd never heard about Kiribati until today. And there's crazier things about Kiribati. You know what? Somebody told me how to spell it, to pronounce it, and I forgot. So if you're listening, sorry. So on a ball, time zones, right? We're spinning. So time zones are lines from the North Pole to the South Pole. There's 24 of them, like sections in an orange, right? And as you spin, if the camera's the sun, you have your time zones. And so they should all be straight lines. But what's up with this line here? No one's ever like, what is going on with that line? So we take a closer look at that one. This goes across like 3.5 time zones here. Why? Why doesn't it just come straight down? If we're on a ball, what is being hidden here? And what's right in the weirdest spot ever? Kiribati.
Interesting.
Weird. Yeah, interesting. Doesn't prove anything.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, doesn't prove anything. And so when what I just to give you a good visual, this is what I call how would you know? All right. So let's say, where is it? Get rid of that. So let's say we have a map of the world, and we draw this circle right here. All right. And say there's no communications with the rest of the world. This is, our old history. No phone, no internet, no airplanes. You can go on a boat. And they say, know what we're going to do? We're going to tell people this is all that there is. We're going to wrap it around a ball. We're going to tell them this is where you live, and you can't explore this white spot because there's penguins there. We don't want to disturb their migratory route. So if you go in a boat and try to go off of America, they're going to stop you. Go, no, you can't go here. These are restricted waters. Or if you go down to South America, you're going to go and there's going to be a giant wall that Trump put up, and they're going to be like, no, you can't go on the other side of this wall because it's, whatever. And so this is your whole world. So what if, now I like this. A lot of people hate this map. I love this map. Okay. There's a book called The Navigator Across the Ice Wall. Fascinating. Even if you just want to say it's fiction, feel free. So what if we lived right here? Here we are. Here's America, South America, Africa, Australia. And we lived here, and there's extra land, extra territory, extraterrestrials around here. This is just our pond. And what if the controllers did the same thing? They cut it out, they wrapped it around, and they said, no one is allowed to explore this white area. And guess what? No one's ever gone from here to there. No one's ever done that. Wait a minute. There's people that explored Antarctica. Yeah, there's people that have come down here. They've gone here, and then they go right over here, and then they go back up. Or they say, oh, I went to the North Pole, and then I turned around and came back. Yeah, you can go out here and then turn around and come back. You just can't go over because that is out there. So if you went out, you're not going to pop up over here. You're just going to go out here. So what is the purpose of this? This is a prison for your mind. It stops your thoughts from expanding. It stops you from understanding that you are in the center of God's creation. It stops you from knowing the true power that you have. This is a prison for your mind. This puts your mind in a prison, and you can't think beyond it because you've been programmed that there's nothing else. This stops you from becoming your true potential. It stops you from understanding that you are at the center of creation and that you're an incredibly powerful manifesting being. And it's if we don't need to take down the government. We don't need to take down any of that. We need to ignore it and create our own government. Right? And our own government is, if there's 3 billion of us, we need 3 billion governments. Each person is their own government. We are in charge of ourselves. It's God, man, then maybe government, maybe. But government's trying to be, above God.
Right. Right. It's very interesting.
It's fascinating.
So I was indoctrinated with the story of this man named Galileo who tried to say that, the sun, he tried to prove all of this stuff. He was a heretic. He was thrown in jail. And suddenly he's this renowned person, and all of these models are made up after him.
Yeah.
Why was he jailed?
I don't even know if he was a real person. I think that most of these people that we're hearing about are made up stories.
So you think that they use that as a story to kind of get
Absolutely.
people to buy into it?
Yeah, go on my channel or on the app, go to the video search and search Ruth. And I interviewed a 102-year-old woman back in 2020 about the World's Fair. Is a whole nother rabbit hole. And she had such a great memory.
That's a big one.
Yeah, she had such a great memory. I asked her, I said, in elementary school, she knew the teacher, the school, the street, she knew everything, right? Went to school in Connecticut, public school. And I said, what did they teach you about the earth? She said, they taught me the earth was flat back in the mid 1920s. And we found people that they were teaching flat earth and globe earth up to the 1950s. Okay.
I heard that too.
Yeah. So it's very, very short period of time. And and it's so easy to change history. Like in 10 years, Building 7 is going to never have existed. Okay. That's just the way it's going to be because nobody cares. Right.
True.
So when you look at the stories of these people, none of it makes any sense. Like Galileo, the Copernicus, I think it was Copernicus. He saw Mars. He saw more detail on Mars than we can see with our best telescopes today. And he had a friggin' piece of wood with some polished glass, hand polished, that it had 14 times zoom. Right? My camera has 125 times zoom. And he saw more stuff than we can see today. You're believing stories. We're believing completely nonsensical, dumb stories. These guys, were they all Freemasons or this is all a lie? Galileo, Copernicus. It's Newton. It's all lies. It's all lies. They may have existed. Like Eratosthenes, supposedly figured out the shape of the Earth with his sticks and shadows. I believe he was a real person, but I believe they made up stories about him because the Eratosthenes story about his sticks and shadows experiment didn't show up in any books until the 1900s. What, they waited 2,000 years to put it in a book?
Right.
He would have been the Michael Jordan of mathematicians. And he's never mentioned in any books by other mathematicians coming out of the same area. People.
Have you ever heard of? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Have you ever heard of Adam's calendar in
Michael.
Africa?
Yeah. Michael Tellinger. By the way, he's a flat earther. He knows. I just featured a video on the app of him recently. He knows the Earth is flat, and he's exploring all this stuff. He's a great person to follow. But again, Eratosthenes said, well, the sun's so far away, the rays come in straight, but no one's ever seen straight rays. We always see corpuscular rays like this. And back in the time of Eratosthenes, they believed that the Earth was geocentric. Supposedly, this is the story, which means that the sun went around the Earth, a ball Earth. But if the sun was infinitely far away, so far away that the light rays are straight, how does a giant sun circle a tiny Earth? Doesn't make any sense. They get their stories mixed up. But on a flat Earth with a small local sun, you can do experiment yourself. Get 2 bottles, hold the light over one of them. There'll be no shadow, and the other one will have a shadow, just like this sun. Here's Eratosthenes, no shadow. His buddy, 500 miles away, got a shadow. You can measure the length of the shadow and figure out the sphericity of this flat land. Math is not reality.
What about sundials?
Sundials are amazing. If we were on a spinning, wobbling ball, they wouldn't work. There's some sundials in India. Just I think on the app, if you search sundials, it'll come up. There's a temple, thousands of years old. I forgot. I'm not sure how old it is. Very old. That keeps perfect time. It's got a sun and a moon calendar. It's got sundials that some people can't even figure out what they're doing. But it's because the Earth doesn't move. Just like that monument that I showed you earlier. The Earth doesn't move. The sky clock is spinning around us.
I mean, it does seem like the sky is very much a clock and a calendar for us.
Yeah.
It tells us when to plant crops, when to harvest, when to store, when it's daytime, when it's nighttime. The stars are in the same positions. Like I stargaze all the time, and I've always seen the stars where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, so this is the sun that I talk about. Just go on the app, search sundial. I just added a new search feature. It's fantastic. It's going to get better.
Ooh.
I saw that video.
Yeah, this is an amazing video. And there was like this old guy there that explained how it worked, and then he ran away when people like tell us more. And he was like, "Get out of here." So this doesn't work on a spinning, wobbling beehive heliocentric solar system.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So what else?
Well, it's like when you're talking about the distance between things. I was driving the other day and I noticed the moon. It's still a little bit daylight. The moon's up in the sky and it looks so huge and it looks so close. And then I was at the top of a hill driving down, and then I'm looking across the city, and the moon looked closer to me than I could see across the city. It was trippy. I was like, man, I feel like I could just touch it.
I say that often when I see the moon. I'm like, what's closer, the moon or our house, which is 5 miles away? And I think that the moon that we see is very close. I don't think it's a physical object. I think it's like a rainbow. People see it in different positions. It depends on your position. I think that the real source of the sun and the moon are within or above the firmament, and that we're seeing a projection of their light, their focused energy. I have on my DITRH channel, one of my recent videos, 1 or 2 or 3 videos ago, It's about the solar eclipse. Watch that, and you'll see how a solar eclipse actually works. And I made a model, and it actually works. And I'm waiting for somebody to come up with something better.
Got it. Do you have any questions, Anna?
I was wondering, do you think anyone's actually been able to penetrate the firmament?
Well, Hillary Clinton says she's trying, in her concession speech, she goes, "We hit that high, hard glass ceiling. There's 1,000
Yeah.
cracks." And basically, they're trying to break God's creation. Project Dominic, which is Project Fishbowl, where they were shooting bombs up at the sky and to seeing what would happen, and they would see that they were hitting something. And so, people said those are nuclear bombs. There are no nuclear bombs. But they were trying to
That sounds
crack.
like Hunger Games.
It is Hunger Games. Did you watch Biden's inauguration? Did you see the Hunger Games?
Yes.
They were dressed like Hunger Games.
That's what
The
it
whole
looked
thing,
like.
it literally was the Hunger Games. It was incredible that people aren't like,
wild.
it's incredible. And then Lady Gaga, she was like, it was insane. It was.
I'm so sorry, but
Lady
I
Gag
did
me.
not watch Biden's inauguration. The only inauguration I will ever watch again would be Trump in 2024. I've seen it. I saw the one in 2016, but 2024 is the next one I'll watch.
Well, the only reason I watched it was just for to see the nonsense that they're going to do, and they literally recreated the scene from the Hunger Games on purpose. Because but people say, why would they?
Now
do
I need
that?
to go back and compare the two.
Why would they do that? And the answer is they're casting spells. I don't believe in spells. Well, that's why you're losing this war. You don't understand that we live in this spiritual, energetic, thought created world. A lot of people are like, it's a simulation. I'm on that. I'm down. This is a physical simulation. It's a magical word, for lack of a better word, but our thoughts create our reality. Look at your life. It's your fault. 100%. Everything in your life is your fault.
Right.
Your fault. And when you think bad thoughts, when you watch scary movies and you watch the news, you are drawing those things into your life. Now, can you go watch a scary movie knowing, like overcome it? I think you can. I think you can watch something for research purposes and completely neutralize it. It's like going to a magician. Go see David Blaine. And you know how he does every one of his tricks. You're going to sit there and everyone's going to be like, oh my God, wow, everyone's going to be freaking out. You're going to be like, yep, I know he did that. I know he did that. And when you expose the man behind the curtain, it no longer has any power over you. So that's what this is all about. It's exposing the man behind the curtain and taking your power back. And it's easier said than done.
I'm looking at the comments.
It's easier done than said. It's easier said than
done.
I'm saying that wrong.
So when
you say it's hard, it's hard. Yeah, it's hard because you said it's hard. It's really too hard. Then it is too hard. It's just you have to put your mind in that place where you already have it, and your feeling will bring it into existence.
Correct. Yes. Like energy brings like energy.
That's right. Yeah. And they always push fear because false evidence appearing reality makes us disassociate from true reality, right?
Yeah.
So
in
the comments, someone says Tower of Babel.
Doesn't work on a flat Earth. Doesn't work on a ball Earth. Sorry about that. Have you guys looked into the giant trees and the giant buildings and everything?
I have.
What, the sequoias?
No, the sequoias are blades of grass. Okay. So on the app, hit the Webb button, scroll down, Lost History of Flat Earth. That's good stuff. But right here, giant trees, bring food and water if you click that button, because it shows us this world that existed and how it was cut down, how big were the giants and everything. I couldn't answer that, but it's undeniable that there was trees that were, some of them are estimated to be like 80 miles in circumference. The trunk.
Oh, I'm going to have to watch that one.
It's insane. But you think about that on a ball Earth, doesn't work. On a flat Earth, no problem. A flat extended Earth, no problem. Right? Go back and watch Avatar.
Right. When the moon is out during the day, I'd like to ask people, why why is there a blue sky behind the moon?
Yeah. Because the moon, in my opinion, the moon that we see is pretty transparent. And you're seeing through those thin spots, dark spots. And it shows you the color. There's blue. It's blue during the day and it's black at night. I'm trying to find a picture I have of it. Where is it?
Quick question. If during an eclipse, if you're saying that the moon is just a light,
Yep.
and then it blocks out the sun, then if it was just a light, we would still be able to see through it, correct?
Well, I don't think it's the moon. I think the moon that we see is a light, but that's not the actual moon. It is like a rear projection. Let me show you. So if I go to, I can't find my moon picture, but that's okay. If we go to here and we say, all right, I look at it that we're in a, I don't want to say planetarium, but I'm going to say planetarium. We're in, and we're seeing everything projected in our personal atmospheric dome, or more technically, our azimuthal grid of vision. Right. So here I have a blue sheet dividing my room, and I have a flashlight 10 feet on the other side, and it's right here, and it kind of looks like a sun or a moon. It's amazing. It's actually a square lens, and it looks round here, which is also interesting. Now, Paige is to my left, and I say, where do you see the sun? She goes, I see it right there from her point of view. So I drew in a little X right there with the Sharpie. It's over there. She sees the sun over there while I see it right there. So we're looking at it in two different positions. So this is the sun that we see. The source sun is behind it. Okay? I guess I'm going to have to show you my eclipse thing, because if you haven't seen it, this is going to help you see that better. So,
thank you.
Yeah. So, invisible eclipse. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, here we go. Okay. So here is an eclipse that I filmed. It was a slightly hazy day, so I can film it no problem. And here is a simulated eclipse with a rear projector onto a paper towel. All right, and I'll show you how I did that in a second. And they look very, very similar. Nobody has ever seen from an airplane, from the space station, from infrared telescopes, no one has ever seen the moon before it eclipses the sun. During the eclipse, you don't see a moon, you just see missing sun. Or exiting. Nobody has ever seen the moon during an eclipse. Why is that? Some people say, well, it's not the moon that's eclipsing the sun. Well, I think that it has something to do with whatever it is that creates the moon. So let's go forward here a little bit. So here is an eclipse that was filmed. The eclipse is about this much, but it's all blown out because it's just so bright. And the camera, but we can see this thing that's locked into position. And this is a lens flare because it's moving around with the camera. So this is holding its position. What is that? Right? It's about 85% eclipsed if it's a ball, and that we're right about at 85% eclipse. And this is just so bright. If you put sunglasses on, you'd be able to see the eclipse right there. So I started to think, hey, with my I had my paper towel sky. So here's my paper towel sky, and let's go back a little bit. We don't see what it is that's eclipsing this because there's no light, so it's not being projected into our azimuthal grid of vision. So here's the source, and here's my bottle cap creating this eclipse. I could see the bottle cap back there, but we don't see through the sky, so we don't see it. So here it is going. I don't see it, just like we don't see the moon eclipsing the sun. But this is the sun that we see. Now, here's another sky, a thinner sky. I'll call it my toilet paper sky. And I'm doing the same thing. And look, this is the projector. This is the source sun. That's the source sun right there. And if we compare them to the real eclipse, it's the same exact thing. So my conjecture is that the sun and the moon, the real sun and the moon, whatever they are, because they're part of our lives, the sun is related to God, and the moon is in charge of your reproductive cycles and a whole bunch of other things. They're not just rocks and gases. So they're within the firmament, in the heavens above, and we're seeing them projected into our reality.
Okay. Somebody had a question. How do satellites stay afloat?
Satellites don't stay afloat. They actually do, because they stay afloat with helium. Satellites are
they're on helium balloons, aren't they?
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah. And so there are no satellites falling around the Earth. NASA controls all of the helium in the world. Did you know that? And there's always a shortage, but there's just enough for party balloons and the Goodyear blimp. They don't want people having dirigible companies where you can fly. If you look into our old world history, again, if you go on the homeschool section and go to I'm the Improbable Dreamer, he's got there was dirigible airships as big as cruise ships that hold thousands of people that flew all over the Earth back in the 1800s and before, all over. But that's all been hidden from us. This is like 8,000 pounds going up on a balloon. These are satellites. They hang from balloons. NASA admits there's tens of thousands of them up there at all times. And people are like, well, how do they know where all the weather is? And the airplanes getting the proper tailwinds and stuff. And that's not what I wanted.
Wait a minute, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So in the sky, I see, like, sometimes in dusk, you'll see something like moving across the sky really fast, and you point your little Sky View app at it, and it tells you it's a satellite. So if it's a satellite on a weather balloon, how's it moving so fast?
Well, they're not just weather balloons. There's also other technology up there. There's drones, and there's probably free energy stuff up there. But I also don't believe that you'll see it and you'll point your thing up and it'll go, oh yeah. And it has a grid of satellites that they say, okay, so your satellite, think about this, your satellite tracker, it says, okay, it divides the entire world sky up into grids, and it says, okay, XYZ number 7 satellite is in this point, and wherever they are, they track them on their artificial grid. So when you point it up and go, what's that satellite? It's going to go, that's X7. And you're like, well, I did see a satellite, and the app said X7. X7 was already programmed to be there. And you're seeing a light of this world, not of this world, a ship, a light, who knows what it is. But they've just explained it away with a simple little trick, because you can't verify anything that they say. I saw a light in this sector of the sky. My app said it was the X7 satellite. Therefore, that's proof. No, it's not. It's not proof of anything.
Okay, so are you okay? So you're saying we're in a dome that we're uncovered, and there's water outside of us.
I'm saying that's I don't know if we're in a dome or not. I don't know. I think we are enclosed, but there's other flat earthers that think that the dome could be quite bigger. Maybe the dome covers all of those ponds, 170 different ponds, and each pond has a whole nother world and their own sun, right? I don't know. But
okay.
But you can't have high pressure. We live on an Earth with air adjacent to a void. That doesn't work. Gravity can't hold air down. If gravity holds air down, how come clouds float? It's heavier than air. What's going on with that? And if gravity holds air down, how do I drink with a straw? Because the weak, low-pressure system of my mouth and lungs can pull water and air up and away from gravity. Wait a minute, gravity's supposed to hold it down. I can get a box, suck all the air out of it, and at any altitude or down low, I can open up a valve on the bottom of the box, and the air will violently fill the space. All that air wants to do is equalize. Open up a soda can, equalize instantly. But we have a vacuum of space adjacent to a spinning water ball with air on it. It's dumb. It's so dumb.
You've given me some things to think about and research.
Yeah. So if you look at, most of the 99% of the world's communications are done with undersea cables, and I think a lot of those cables were here before this round of civilization. And you'll notice that there's nothing like from Santiago to Australia, which on a ball would be much closer anyway. These cables go all the way up and then all the way down. And you look at that on a flat Earth, it makes perfect sense. If you rolled this map into a azimuthal equidistant map, none of these cables would break because they all work on a flat Earth. They don't make any sense. Have you guys looked into to the flight routes at all? Have you gone down that road?
Briefly.
I have.
Yeah. So again,
I don't know about if everybody in the chat has.
So here, I'll make this a little bigger. I'll just do a couple. So let's just do southern flight routes. So I'll just hit a couple. This is a favorite one of mine. So this one here, this flight's going from Hong Kong to, it landed in Germany, but it was supposed to go a little farther to the UK. A 12-hour flight, 4 hours into the flight, a mother dies suddenly. Weird these days, huh? And she's sitting with her husband and her little children. She's dead. Pilot's got to land a flight, right? He flew for 8 more hours, right? Didn't stop anywhere along that route. Didn't stop at all. And then finally stopped in Germany. I'm like, why don't you just fly another hour or two to get them home? Why are you stopping in Germany at this point? The kids sat next to their dead mother for 8 hours. I mean, you could have, imagine sitting next to your dead mother for 8 hours. As a kid or an adult.
Mortified.
Yeah, I mean, try sitting next to your mother for 8 hours, okay? Forget it. It's a little mother joke there. But if you look at it on a flat Earth map, they were over Russia. That's why they didn't land, because two things. If they landed in Russia, Russia probably would have been very helpful. That could spark peace. And people would say, wait a minute, why are we over Russia? Then they'd start looking at maps and they'd figure it out. So that's why they didn't land, because they were over Russia. When you look
Can I see that map again? Because my aunt, I had some family members traveled to Spain and they stopped in Russia. And I didn't understand why they stopped in Russia to get to Spain.
Let's look at, let's just pull up the AE map. Here we go. So where did they fly from?
From California into Spain.
California. If I can make this smaller, it'd be better for me. So Spain is, where the hell is Spain? Spain's like right over here. Okay. So California, Russia, Spain, right there.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah. Japan, Hawaii. Japan, Hawaii. Now, the big argument people have is, what about Santiago to Australia? It's too far. They do it in 14 hours. Well, there's wind currents that circle around here, 200-300 mile an hour winds. These planes absolutely make perfect sense. Taking this route from here over there, it can get there. Planes fly at different speeds. We know that those winds are there. If they didn't take advantage of it, that means the plane is flying at like 300 miles an hour. Can't happen. And that makes perfect sense. On the app, if you go to the frequently asked questions section and you go to the southern flights right there and click that, up comes all of your questions answered about these flights. And all of the people that are supposedly debunking them, we just basically take them apart one by one. And it's all answered here. All of these videos are being hidden from your Google searches. That should make you really want to look, don't you think?
You sparked an interesting memory. My mother used to go from California to the Philippines and Hong Kong, and not once did she ever stop in Hawaii on her way.
Oh yeah, the flights. The flights don't go anywhere near Hawaii. It's amazing. Once you see this, once you really look, let's go back to Southern Flight Routes again. Let's just show you a couple more.
It's mind blowing.
It,
On
it,
on a
it
on
is
a
mind
map
blowing.
that shows the Earth is flat, what's the circumference?
We don't know. We think that the equator might be closer to 21,000 miles rather than 24,901. But again, you can't measure ocean because the only measurements you have out there are NASA's GPS, and it's all rigged to hide the globe. Think about this. Everyone in the world can use GPS, right? Everyone's got their devices, their phones, everything. But the GPS code is closed source. Nobody can see it because if we could actually see it, we can see what they did and we could actually verify the flat Earth map.
So why is NASA receiving so much money per day?
Because because it's all about keeping everybody lost in space. It's about keeping you diluting your true God created reality. And when you want to dilute something, what do? You pour it into a bigger container, like infinite space. And so NASA is here to deceive us. NASA means to deceive in Hebrew. And look at all of the logos. They're all they're tongues, they're serpent tongues. It's all in your face. Look at this flight route, right? Auckland, New Zealand, all the way up across the equator. This is the equator right here. Why would you go across the equator when you could just go across here to Lima, Peru? Straight across. Nobody wanted to go there. They went there for fuel. What? Why don't you just go across here? Answer is look at it on a flat Earth map. Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. Wait, here's one. This is so the World Cup happened in Doha, and when Buenos Aires, one of the guys, they had their own plane, private plane, so they didn't have to switch passengers or pilots or anything. They went to Rome for fuel, and then over. Wait a minute. Those are pretty equidistant. Why would you go all the way over there? That's a long flight. That's like 5 hours. No, more, maybe more. This is huge, huge flight. Why would you go there for fuel? Because when you look at it on a flat Earth map, Doha, Rome, can't get fuel in the middle of the ocean. Buenos Aires, straight line.
Interesting.
Yeah. On my channel, DITRH, I have all short videos. For those of you that are doubting this, just go watch my short videos. And I have one. There's a woman named Laura Nina. She did a Why the Lie speech that is phenomenal. Go watch that. It's like, I think it's my the first or second video, latest video. Just go watch that. DITRH stands for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. If you forget everything, you can find my app. You can find me, book me, ask questions, see my crash course, find all my YouTube channels, find my interviews channel, all at flatearthdave.com. Flatearthdave.com.
Thank you, Dave. I do have that app. I just need to figure out, I need to load it onto my iPad so I can't see it on my phone.
Okay, well, load it on your iPad and use the same login. Well, use a different, no. Don't use the same login for the friend finder on two devices because they'll cancel each other out.
Okay.
But one thing, like I don't want to watch videos on my phone all the time. So if you watch it on your phone and your phone's logged into your YouTube, all you got to do is go to your smart device, whatever you're using, and go to your history, and the one that you clicked is there. And you could also send videos. If you're let's say you go to the more resources and you go down to the Flat Earth movies. I can take this entire playlist and just share it. I can send the whole playlist to email it to myself. Now I got the whole playlist there, or I can do it for each individual video. And these videos alone, will change your life.
Yes.
And also, if you have a phone, and a smart TV, you can project onto the television and watch it on a big screen.
100%.
Which makes it really easy.
In the book section, we got John Levy's new book, Old World.
I want to get that.
Yeah, I just got it. I haven't read it yet. I'm bringing it. I'm going to Mexico this winter, so that's my beach book. We have Flat Earth Man. Flat Earth Man just dropped a new album. Amazing. And this is the Navigator Across the Ice Wall I told you about. It's literally the story of Star Wars here on Earth. going in between ponds instead of other planets. What do you call a piece of a plane? Like each pond occupies a piece of the Earth plane. You might call it a planet.
Right? And now we always say England's
Yeah,
across the pond.
right. The Iron Republic. Story about a politician that got fed up, sold everything, bought a ship, went to Antarctica, went through an inlet, lost at sea for a couple of months, found land, and he was at the Iron Republic on the other side of Antarctica. Lived there for 10 years, got married. His wife died, ended up getting his ship back, coming back to Florida, and he wrote a whole bunch of articles about it. And you can't find any of those articles, the original articles anymore, in Florida Magazine. They're just gone, right? That's weird because you can find anything these days with the internet.
Do you have anything on Admiral Byrd in your library there?
There's if you go on the frequently asked questions and you go to the what about Antarctica button right there, there's tons of documentaries on him, tons of stuff. And we're adding more stuff all the time. Anybody, like if you find a book about flat Earth, about whatever, send it to me. We'll add it right to the app so everybody has access to it.
Awesome.
And did I mention that I'm speaking at Anarchapulco this winter in February? If you go to the shopping cart section, it's right there. And you guys are familiar with Anarchapulco Conference. It's the biggest freedom conference. It's been going. It's its 10th year anniversary. And I'll be a speaker there. And we have at least 5 other flat Earth speakers that are going to be there. So flat Earth is taking over. It's going to be shocking for some people, but we are so close to the tipping point. It's unbelievable. So if you're looking for a vacation, someplace to go in the winter, this is a cool place. Go. I don't know if you go. I'd go with kids, but go with there's so many experiences that you can have there. It's amazing. So it's a great place.
Awesome. Can you tell me again, where is that going to air? Where you have a NASA whistleblower? Was it?
Oh,
NASA?
that'll be on my channel. You'll see it on the app if you hit the Webb button. Right here are all these are all my interviews. This is all of the videos that are on the chat, but that's not on YouTube. That's our backup, our Web3 backup.
Okay.
But all my interviews, including this one, when I upload it, will be here. You just click that and you go right there, and then you could just scroll through all the videos, and there's over 1,000. There's this list has close to 1,000 in it. But tons of videos, more than you could ever possibly listen to.
Okay, what's this guy's name that you're going to interview?
I don't know.
Or
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head.
I just want to be able to look out.
You'll find it. You'll see it. Just look. It'll say NASA, ex-NASA employee will be the thumbnail.
Okay, awesome. I really appreciate your time, Dave.
All right.
I know I'm going to be doing some research, and I'm going to have you back on again after I do a bunch of research. And
here's the thing: don't do your own research. But if you Google, they're going to lead you down a dark road, and you're just going to you're going to get tired. And then you guys are probably going to get a call by my trolls. They're going to be like, "You're not qualified to have to listen to David Weiss. You should have me on." They're going to try to get on your show. These guys are the scum of the scum. I'm not telling you what to do, but I wouldn't even give them the time of day. So,
David, I never do any research on Google. I know better.
Yeah, okay, good for you. Good for you. But the app makes it super easy. The app is $3, one-time charge. There are some advanced features on the app. The friend finder, if you want to be able to message people, you can do group phone calls, you can do group broadcast messages, you can do all sorts of stuff. You have to have a subscription. It's $11 a month. No, I'm sorry, $11 a year. $11 a year. And but that's it. You don't have to get it. I would appreciate it if you did, because it helps support the app, and it's actually quite worth it. But for those of you that don't want to pay the $11, if you just click this button in the friend finder right here, that'll bring you to your referral page. If you download the app, it says, do you have a referral code? And you put in, like mine is DITRH, and then it keeps track of how many people you referred to the app. And those points I'll be worth something one day, but right now they're just good karma points because when you wake someone up to flat Earth, you're waking them up to the Creator. And
Yes.
I actually think that one day when you're at the pearly gates and they're looking at your chart and go, you've got a pretty hefty list of sins here, but I see you have 81 referrals. I think we're going to let you right in, right? Prove me
That's
wrong.
funny.
Prove me wrong. Right. So there you go. So go there and make sure when you do sign up to the Friend Finder, you don't need a subscription for this. Just hit that little pencil and it's a random number. Just make a custom number up to 7 characters. And then when you share the app, it's kind of fun because your app will keep track and you get on the leaderboard. Like if we look at the leaderboard here, whoops, that's not what it's doing.
Well, I do know that you have a lot of information on this app. And when I started looking into it, I actually got your app, started watching videos, and it's almost like 5 o'clock in the morning. And I've only gotten through like 5 or 6 videos worth or playlist or something. I was just like, oh my God, I can go on forever.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I tell a story that one time I was, people started sending me, Dave, have you seen this new Warren on video? And I'm like, and I look at it, 5.5 hours. I'm like, I'm not watching that. And then more people keep telling me I got to watch it. I got to watch it. I got to watch it. And I one night it was like 11 o'clock. I'm just finishing up some stuff. I was like, you know what? Let me just put that on in the background. I put it on. 5 minutes later, I stopped doing what I was doing. And I'm like this. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Next thing I know, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm just like, holy crap. I literally,
what video was this?
So if you go to the Webb button page, scroll down, Lost History of Flat Earth, click that, and then we go. Why do I keep doing that? If we scroll down, it is the first one, 5 hours, The Lost History of Flat Earth, right there, first one, and then these are a whole bunch of other ones. Mind-blowing information, mind-blowing. Now I don't 100% agree with everything this guy came up with, but I'm going to give him a 95, maybe a 96. And make up your own mind. But this is going to expose you to the giant trees, giants, flat Earth, free energy. It's going to expose you to everything. So that's a great video, and it'll blow your mind.
Awesome. I'll check that out. Anna, do you have any final questions for Dave?
And no, I just can't wait to get that app.
I'm surprised you don't have it already.
The other thing is,
I wanted to.
Good. Say what you're gonna say. Good.
I was just, I was trying to understand why it was so controversial for this flat Earth versus globe Earth. Who came up? Who rediscovered?
Well, it's always been around. It's always
was it from the camera that proved it?
No. It's always been around, but they've done a great job indoctrinating people, and people forgot about it in the 60s and 70s and 80s, and then it wasn't until recently, and I guess you would probably give credit to Eric Dubay for pushing it, getting it out there on YouTube. And back then, you watch a video and then YouTube's like, oh, you like that? Watch this. Look, Taboo Conspiracy just uploaded this, and Jaron uploaded this. Bam, bam. And it was great. Now, nothing. Like you watch one of you watch on my channel, I have a great video called I Have to Go to the Bathroom on the ISS. And it's hysterical. And it destroys the ISS. But then when it's done, the next video that's going to pop up, unless you're watching in a playlist, is going to be just a pro NASA. Just like you should see the stuff that comes up after you watch. Like after you watch the giant tree one, you're going to watch a History Channel, geology one's going to come up. They're literally
something that'll debunk it.
Yeah, it's something trying to pull you back over. But I also have this is just getting going. This is the profile section. So not only can you see other people around you, you can look at their profiles, you can share information, you can send messages, you can do video calls, you can do group video calls. And you have a friends list, you can post stuff on your wall, and soon you'll be able to comment and like and all that stuff. But it's a whole social media platform, because a lot of people say, oh, I'm a flat earther. I can't talk to anybody. I don't know anyone around me. But then you find out, like, your soulmate or your best friend now is right around the corner, flat earther. You just basically message a couple people and it's like, hey, I'm going to be at Joe's little pub, 4:00. Come on down. That's how I met one of my best friends now. And it's just a great way to find like-minded people. Every blue dot on that screen, you have more in common with them than any job search site, dating site, friend matchup. You have more in common with every single one of those people than anyone could ever do elsewhere. So it's going to be, it's an amazing app to bring people together. So there you go. Yeah.
Well, in the chat, someone says the app is awesome on the iPad. So I will definitely try out the iPad because it's a little frustrating on my phone.
It is awesome on the iPad. It is very good on the iPad.
And to say that you can't find anything on Flat Earth on YouTube, you can, but it's all the ones that are bashing the Flat Earth.
Yeah, well, that's you can't find anything. That's what we're saying. You can't find anything useful. You can't find anything useful. So
what's to be said about that is, why is it being suppressed so much? What's the real reason behind it? And like you said, we're being enslaved. We're being indoctrinated. I can't even say the word right now. Indoctrinated.
Yeah.
Thank you. There's a lot to be said about that. So
one last thing, a lot of people don't realize, and again, we're working on making this better in the background, but the new button I just added is the video search. So you're like, people email me all the time. Hey, Dave, where's that interview? Where's this interview? So let's say, hey, you were on InfoWars. So you just type in InfoWars, ARS, done, search, and up comes. Actually, we're in the middle of programming it, but this is from InfoWars. But normally it would come right up. And we must have mentioned InfoWars in that one. But if you're looking for people like there was a video where I tricked these guys where I showed them a picture from the ISS, but it was really a picture from our front yard that we turned upside down and said we're on the ISS. And so people like, where's that one? And I think the guy's name was Joey in Cheeks. So maybe if I type in Cheeks, if I just type in Cheeks, done, search, and there it is. There's the one, the trick. So it comes up. So it's a great way to find all of the videos that were ever on the app. And it's getting better and better. We're actually, Google was screwing with us. We literally put it on there and they literally shut down my API access. So we've got a back end route around it, and that should be done already. But unfortunately in India, it's Diwali now and everybody's dancing in the friggin' street. So I have to wait until next week.
Whose show were you on InfoWars?
Alex Jones.
You were on Alex? Okay.
Yeah. I noticed you have InfoWars streaming on your website.
I do.
Yeah. So I'm good friends with Eddie Bravo, and Eddie and Sam Tripoli were on, and they had me on, and Alex was fascinated, and I was steamrolling, and those guys were so high actually they couldn't talk. But every time Alex tried to interrupt me, they were good at saying, "Shut up, Alex, let him talk." So I steamrolled for 30 minutes, and half their office is now flat. Greg Reese was just at the Flat Earth International Conference, Flattoberfest in Vegas, did a great presentation. He's done some great stuff.
So Greg Reese believes in flat Earth?
Not believes, he knows the Earth is flat. He knows. And when I say flat is not a shape, is not we live on a topographical plane. It's a level, horizontal, non-rotating plane.
Has he done any videos on it?
Absolutely. That one that came up, if you just search InfoWars, he did, and it's also on the Antarctica playlist. It's called it's an Antarctica InfoWars. It's fantastic. It's like 7 minutes or 10 minutes. It's phenomenal. He did such a good job on it. I've actually featured it several times because it's that good. So yeah, check that out. It's phenomenal. It's actually excellent video.
Awesome. Thank you, Dave.
All right, guys.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dave. This was wonderful.
And as Anna, when you talk, your name pops up, and I see Anunnaki, and that's my cat's name.
We already made a connection. How about that? I love it.
And do people when they get mad at you, do they go Naki? Do you say Naki?
Oh, wait a minute.
No, they call me gnocchi, like
gnocchi,
food.
like gnocchi. Okay.
Yes. A potato
her,
ball or something.
her husband and I get frustrated because she's got so many names we don't know what to call her anymore.
Stop it.
I'll stop it.
So you're so they really your parents named you this, or did you change your name?
Oh, my name has gone through many iterations
Okay.
of the same phonetics.
You want to know the name of my other cat?
Please.
Nephilim.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Dasting.
Oh,
Look
wait a minute,
at
Dave. So you're a cat
you.
man. Are
I'm
you on the west?
I'm on the
Are
East
you on the
Coast.
west coast?
I'm on the East
Oh
Coast.
man,
Yeah. And
I
and I
have some
had another
cats.
Do you need
another
any extra cats?
I need to find home for some cats.
Are you freaking kidding me? I will. We love our cats, but I can't wait until we don't have to love them anymore.
Oh
Because
no, I love all the cats. I just have too many.
we take our. We're going to Mexico in the winter. We have to take our freaking cats with us. Okay, they're like kids.
Yes.
Horrible. It's horrible.
They all have their own little personality. They're so
Holy
cute,
crap.
right?
Our fur babies.
Holy crap. I know. I'm not a.
My husband's the cat man. He brings all the cats home.
No more cats. I'm a dog man, but cats are better because you can't leave a dog home all day alone, but you can a cat.
Right. Yeah. I love
That's
my
a
cats.
fact.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
I
Dave.
love all of the animals. I think they're all spectacular, with the
Dogs.
exception of snakes. I'm not a big
Actually,
fan.
my husband loves animals more than he does people.
Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense. When you see somebody abuse a dog, it brings tears to your eyes. Dogs are here to teach us unconditional love, and dog backwards, weirdly, is God. So that's weird.
Yeah.
And then cats are here. They're actually they're what is it when you're a living robot? They're biological camcorders spying on us for people in the outer space.
No.
No,
No.
they're actually
You
spying
got a
on
lot
us.
of eyeballs on you.
Oh my God. I've got a lot of cameras in my house.
The cats are watching us. That's it. Well,
Shit.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Not kidding. Kidding. I'm kidding. Not kidding. Kidding.
My husband will love that
Oh,
one.
let's chalk that up for another conspiracy that we gotta look into.
Yes, birds
Although there was
exist.
a cat
Australia
experiment.
exists. All of the nonsense you hear about flat Earth. Flat Earthers think that Australia doesn't exist. This is all made up by the mainstream. A flat earther tried to prove it and killed himself in a rocket. That's Mike Hughes, a stuntman that wanted to break Evel Knievel's record of a steam powered rocket. And he was looking for money. And some flat earthers said, "Hey, we'll give you the $7,000 if we can put a banner on your rocket that says flat Earth." Then he ended up killing himself. And the mainstream media goes, flat earther kills himself trying to prove the flat Earth. And it went.
Did he kill himself or was he killed?
Well, I don't know. Some people say that he's not even dead. He crashed and killed. His parachute didn't come out, or I don't know what happened, but he's dead in my opinion. But I wasn't there, so I can't confirm it. But the media doesn't even understand. The guy was hoping to get up 1,800 feet. There's buildings higher than 1,800 feet. Go in an airplane, you're at 35, 40,000 feet, right? Why? So the story is so stupid, but they play it everywhere. And then all of the globies that have never looked into flat Earth, they go, "Oh, you flat earthers are stupid. You're killing yourself in rockets." Well, did you look at the actual facts of the story? And you believe that?
Yeah, did you read beyond the headline?
Yeah, no, they don't even read the whole headline. It's ridiculous. I will never take the blue pill. I will never go back in the Matrix. This place is far more interesting than anybody can ever imagine. And this is a fantastic time to be alive. And if people lift up their spirits, lift up their energy, and help bring other people up to this level, all of the governments, everything will fade away into dust. It won't matter. None of it will matter. And we can do this if we don't live in fear. And you don't live in fear when you understand that your feet are rooted at the center of creation and not on a speck of dust flying through a scientifically impossible space vacuum.
Right. Well said.
Well said.
Okay.
I think that everybody in this chat except Anunnaki here has your app. but if those of you in the chat don't have it, I do suggest it. It does have a lot of good videos on it. I haven't even begun to hit the surface. I try to do your daily challenge, but like I said, once I start one video, I can't sleep. And I do have 2 jobs here.
Yeah, but when you're a flat earther, you don't need to sleep.
Sometimes I only get 10, 15 minutes of sleep every night.
Oh,
But,
lucky
you know.
you.
I really appreciate it. I will put your website information on my website so
Yep.
people can get to it, and
All the links to my
links.
Facebook page. I have the Flat Earth Podcast Facebook page. All you got to remember is flatearthdave.com. Scroll down, you'll see socials, you'll see my TikToks, you'll see my YouTube channels, my interviews channels, latest interviews banner. If you think that Elon Musk is a hero, click the Elon Musk banner, and then you'll know he's a fraud. And just go through the stuff there. If you can't get the app, just go to the crash course. Turn off Netflix, watch those videos. It is scientifically impossible to watch 3 of the videos in that list and remain a globe earther. Try it.
Correct.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave. I really appreciate your time and meeting with us. And I'd love to have you back on once we do some more research, and love to share what, maybe changed people's in the chat. They'll reach out to me and let me know if anybody found your videos helpful and changed their mind, or if not, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
All right. You too.
You too. Bless you. Thank you for all the information.
All right. Thanks.
It was exceptional.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.